Diwali, ma'am.
Happy Diwali to everyone.
Oh yeah, happy Diwali.
This was so neat to have our festival during Diwali weekend because everyone's
Yeah,
at
sure.
home with COVID, so at least we can watch movies.
Absolutely. How's the feedback been? How's the festival been so far?
Oh,
This would be your
excellent.
second day, right?
Yes, and we have more than 20,000 people registered.
Oh,
And
how cool.
we've had, just in the first day, we've had almost 7,000 views. So,
Excellent.
which is that's so much bigger than any, regular traditional film festival.
Sure.
So it's
That's
been
great to
excellent.
know. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, we're so excited about this, and we're so happy that all of our wonderful films and filmmakers are going to get to have their film watched by thousands of people.
So Nikita, if I could ask you, so the forum, I mean the panel is about is about women and filmmaking. Is that what the panel is?
Yeah, I'm just going to, it'll just be a very casual conversation. I'll ask all of you some questions. In the beginning, I'll ask a few questions, about you, about, your experience with filmmaking. And then
Sure.
I'll be talking to each of you individually about your film and about
Right.
the importance of women in your film. So.
All right. Got it. Got it.
I think we just have the two of you. We're still waiting for Hitesh and Arindam.
And this will be about 20 minutes is what you're saying, right?
It's about 30, 35 minutes.
30. Okay. Half an hour. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, if we get really excited, we can go a little more, which, all the films
Sure.
are so good and there's so much depth. We could sit for hours and talk about them, but we know that from experience that people don't want to watch more than 30 to 40 minutes of a panel
Right.
discussion.
Right. No, that seems right. I think that's a good amount of time.
How are things in India
And
going right now? I know it's a very different Diwali.
yeah, I mean, it seems like everyone's doing what they usually do with masks on.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'm in Chennai. I'm based out of Bombay, but I'm in Chennai right now,
Okay.
visiting some family.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in
And
Dallas, and
you're in Dallas?
it's quite quiet.
Mm.
People already have their Christmas decorations out, more than a month in advance, just because.
Boredom.
Yeah, we want something exciting in our lives. So.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Nageshwar,
I've seen
where are
pictures
you?
of that.
Yeah.
Hi, madam.
Where are you located?
I am from Andhra Pradesh, East Godavari district,
Okay.
India. Amlapur, my hometown.
Nice. So how is it there? How are Diwali celebrations there? Are they quiet or just as loud as ever?
Tomorrow, ma'am. Today, light preparations.
Okay. So we're still waiting for Hitesh and Arindam.
Two members.
Danji, do we need to get Christian to call them? Shall I reach out to Christian?
I can do that. So let him let Christian know about it. Okay, just give me a couple minutes. But I'm thinking, on schedule you can start, and then if somebody joins, we can have them join, and then.
I think probably wait 2-3 minutes just in case. It'll be nice to have all four of them. But
Yeah, no, totally.
if he doesn't join in the next couple of minutes, then
Sure.
that's fine.
I will message Christian just now.
Sorry, Nagesh, I wanted to know where in East Godavari? What did you say? Where are you staying? Where do you live?
Amlapuram. Madam.
Amlapuram.
Yes.
I have a lot of family in Vizag.
Oh, nice.
That's where my
200.
father is from.
Okay. 250 kilometers from Amlapuram. Ma'am.
Got it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I have never been to Chennai or anywhere in the south except Bangalore. I think that's as far south as I have gone. I haven't seen.
And where are you from originally, Nikita?
I'm originally from Rajasthan. And my parents lived in Nor Madhya Pradesh.
Oh, cool.
But now they are in Pune.
Oh, okay.
So
I've taught in Pune, so I spent a few years there
nice.
before moving back to Bombay. Yeah.
Pune is a nice city.
Yeah, it is. I have mixed feelings about.
Yeah, but we're so used to being in Indore, Rajasthan, so it was a big shift when it was a real big change
I mean,
for us when they shifted there.
Yeah, I can imagine. And what do you do, Nikita? You're a filmmaker?
So yeah, my background is electrical engineering, but in the last decade or so, I started venturing into film. And this year, I debuted my first short film as a director and writer.
Oh, cool.
It's been a really exciting journey.
That's great. Did you shoot it in the US or did you shoot it in India?
I shot it in the US, but it is a romantic comedy set in London.
All right. That's great.
Yeah. So it's been a great experience. And then working with Indica Pictures was wonderful. And we got over 850 submissions. And so, we've been busy.
Yeah, that's great. What about you, Nagesh? How did you get into filmmaking?
I started from 2012. Completed that nearby 30 short films.
Amazing. 30. That's incredible.
18 hours.
Oh my God. You're a star.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be asking you that.
I'm trying to direct a movie, ready, and writing film scripts.
Very nice.
Waiting for a good production house.
Are your films mostly in Telugu?
Yeah. మీరు తెలుగు మాట్లాడతారండి మీరు?
మాట్లాడతాను. మాట్లాడతాను. In fact, sorry, Nikita, we're going to get a little...
No, please go ahead. I'm sorry that I don't speak Telugu.
No, it's okay. Nagesh, 3-4 years back, na documentary Hyderabad lo shoot chesanu. Chanchalgura prison lo, Hyderabad.
Oh, super.
So నాకు అక్కడే permission దొరికింది. So I ended up shooting there and children who grow up in prison.
Oh
my goodness.
Nice.
Yeah. Nikita, I was telling him that that I shot in Hyderabad a few years back for a documentary that I was doing. And I had an advantage there because I got permission to shoot in a prison in Hyderabad, and luckily, since I knew the language, I could sort of communicate there locally more. I mean, it was just effective to know the local sort of spoken language there.
That sounds like such a compelling story. So
Yeah,
what
it
is
was
it?
a
What is the
documentary on
title?
children growing up in prison. It's called Born Behind Bars, and yeah, and
మాకు తెలుగు వచ్చానండి.
hi,
Hi.
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 నా పేరు
This is
మాలతి. నీ
Surya.
పేరేంటి?
నా
Hi.
పేరు దేవి. షార్ట్ ఫిల్మ్
Hi,
లో
Devi.
డాక్టర్.
నేను చూడలే ఇంకా ఈ ఫిల్మ్స్. నేను చూస్తాను, నేను ఇంకా చూడలే.
ఓకే, డెఫినెట్ గా చూడండి. ఐఎమ్ డాక్టర్ బై ప్రొఫెషన్ అండ్ ఈవెన్ మై
అచ్చా,
సిస్టర్ హూ
okay.
యాక్టెడ్ ఇన్ ద షార్ట్ ఫిల్మ్, షీ ఈస్ ఆల్సో ఎ డాక్టర్.
ఓ వావ్, అంటే మీరు అసెన్షియల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఈ టైం మీద.
yes.
We thank
That's
you for
nice.
all your services. And doctors are so important right now. I mean, always. But
Absolutely.
especially now.
Yeah.
Please do watch.
I will.
I've seen it many times, but yes. Malti, please do.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Nikita. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Surya.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So Danji, looks like no one else has joined. Shall we just start then?
Yes, definitely.
Nikita, yes, I think we should go ahead. Let me know when, and I'll live stream it, and I'll give you a signal, and then you can start. Can you hear me?
ఓ ఫిల్మ్ డైరెక్టర్ ఇంకిద్దరు రావాల్సి ఉన్నారు.
Okay.
ఒకటి తెలుగు
Nikita,
మీరు
can you hear me, Nikita?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I am ready. And just let me know when.
Okay. Just let me know whenever you're ready so that I can live stream it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Give me a second.
మీరు మాట్లాడండి. ఇంకా
నాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు.
ఇంగ్లీష్ ఆవిడ తెలుగు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు కదండి, మాట్లాడండి.
ఓకే.
Okay, Nikita, I'm ready.
Okay.
We're going 3, 2, 1.
Namaste. My name is Nikita Hattangadi, and I am head of programming for Indica Pictures. We are delighted to have our guests with us today, two talented filmmakers who have made powerful female-centric films. We have Malti Rao's riveting documentary, The Geishima is Born. It's about Tibetan Buddhist nuns. Empowered by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, they received the highest monastic degree, the Geishima, or PhD. This film explores their journey. Welcome, Malti.
Hi, Nikita. Thank you for inviting me here.
And we also have filmmaker Nageshwar Rao, whose enlightening ultra short shares the story of dedicated women medical professionals during the pandemic and the misconceptions and stereotypes that need to be broken. Welcome, Nageshwar.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మ్యామ్.
So thank you to both of you for taking time out from your busy schedules to be here with us today. We are honored to have your films in our festival. And I thought we could start with a little icebreaker for our audience. So please share a little bit about your background, your education, where you grew up, or anything that you would like to share with the audience. You know, most audience like to know their filmmakers on a bit of a personal level. So maybe something about your background. Nageshwar, would you like to start?
BSc Computers, just a degree completed. I'm so much interested in filmmaking. So I started stories, and I have a editing unit. My main profession, wedding photography.
Oh,
So
nice.
in this lineup, I gather some people who interested in this filmmaking. We make a team. I'm a for teamworks with my hometown name. So I started from 2012. Nearby 30 short films, 18 awarded win.
Wow.
Uh, this short film also already 3 awards win. Uh, Vijayawada second best film. Dasri Memorial Awards lo best film, best director. Recently, Colors of Life అని ఒక హైదరాబాద్ బేస్డ్ కంపెనీ బెస్ట్ ఫిల్మ్ వచ్చింది.
Oh, that's excellent. I know so many people in the film industry have a technical background like engineering or computer science. So it's really nice to see technical people getting into this artistic endeavor.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
And Malti, how about you? Maybe something about your background, your education, or family, or anything.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Delhi, and I did my mass communication from Jamia Millia Islamia, which is one of the best mass communication institutes. And then I worked in Delhi for some time, and then was in the US, where I was at Temple University in Philadelphia and completed my MFA in film and media arts. And post that, came back to India and have been making documentaries and also teaching. So largely sort of observing the world around me, figuring out what kind of stories interest me, what I'd like to tell, and yeah, and making films. Also teaching, and I
What
have
do
a
you teach?
daughter. I teach filmmaking.
You
I
teach
used
film.
to teach, yes, I used to teach at Symbiosis earlier in Pune, which is what I was telling you, Nikita. I used to be in Pune for a few years. And in Bombay, in Mumbai now, I teach at Xavier's, largely as adjunct, the Xavier's Institute, um, teach documentary and also screenplay writing. But
Nice.
there are lots of sort of introductory sort of courses that I've taught. So just introductory filmmaking courses, and then documentary filmmaking courses, and screenplay writing.
Super.
A lot of filmmakers know from the time that they are children that they want to make film. And then some stumble into it, some, decide that something, some event or some person triggered their desire to make film. How about you? Did you ever imagine when you were a child, Nageshwar, did you ever think you would make films? Or was there always a secret desire to make movies? Or was it something that just came about with time?
Mm,
Did you always know when you were from your childhood that you wanted to make movies?
yes,
Or was it
my
something that
daughter.
came later?
I have some team. Professionally, some cameramen and some music interested people. So I prepare more stories for best outputs.
Okay, okay. So was there some event or some person that just suddenly sparked your desire to do this? Or maybe we'll come back to you with that question. Maybe you get time to think about it. How about you, Malti? Did you always know from the time you were a child that you wanted to make film?
No, not really. I think it was a fairly sort of a slow process of discovery for me. I think I was always interested in writing, and then I did some theater while I was in school with Barry John, and sort of found myself gravitating to thinking about and writing about things, and also sort of dropping my erstwhile ambition of becoming a doctor, because I realized that I had no interest in the subjects that were connected to being a doctor.
I think most people want to be doctors when they're little, but somehow that changes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, blame it on Hemingway, actually. And then I sort of, moved to the arts with a vengeance after that. And um, so writing was really my introduction, and then theater alongside. And then it was really post my joining my master's program that I figured that a way to combine writing with an interest in storytelling and images was to, move towards filmmaking. And I think a sense of sort of ideas connected with the society, and just sort of notions of how one can bring in change through the language of cinema was something that I was very, intrigued by, of how that could happen. Um, and filmmaking has such a rich history of being able to do that,
Yes.
whether it is in, sort of gender, or whether it is in politics. I really found some amazing strides, really inspired by filmmakers who made amazing strides in these two areas. And I remember watching some amazing films and feeling like, oh, it's possible. I mean, say someone like Meera Nair, who has always been so inspirational in terms of the documentary films that she's made, and just sort of the range of stuff that was possible for us to see and inculcate and understand how to use the medium. I think that was probably what maybe planted the germ in my head, and sort of saw it
Yeah,
through.
definitely. Cinema, there is no more powerful medium, I think, to reach the masses, to send a message, to inspire, because thousands of people are watching a film. And
Yeah,
now with online film, I mean, there was a time when you would just go into a movie theater or maybe watch on TV, but now with online,
yeah,
um, tens of thousands of people are watching something at the same time. So definitely, definitely.
absolutely.
So, we're always influenced by others, whether it's family, friends, or celebrities. And since today's topic is women in films, tell us about a woman who greatly impacted your life.
Should I go first, or Nagesh, would you like to answer that?
Yeah. మీరు చెప్పండి ఫస్ట్.
That's a hard one, actually. I think there's several. I mean, I've already named Meera Nair, but there's so many filmmakers and women filmmakers who have been really inspirational.
Or even
I
family,
think,
or some woman who has impacted you.
I see. So it's not specific to
Not
filmmakers.
specific to celebrities or filmmakers, any woman who has really
Right.
impacted you.
Um, no, I think I'll start with my mom. That's always good to sort of acknowledge, I think, the contribution that your mom would have made in terms of just getting a sense of understanding being independent, and being someone who really pursued her place in terms of her work and in terms of the society, and also taking care of us. I really sort of appreciated the way she would handle. I mean, she used to work. She's a working woman. She used to work at Indian Airlines,
Nice.
and I remember every morning, she would sort of take care of us, send us off to school, and then go off to work herself and come back after a long day's work. But what I really remember about her entire day was that when she'd come back, she used to be, um, she she seemed to have had a good day. And she didn't seem burdened by the pressures of trying to figure out a work life balance. She really sort of enjoyed the work that she did. And I think to see your mother as someone who is self fulfilled and someone who is able to take charge of her life has been one of the, I think, one of the greatest inspirations for me, that it is possible to find life where your own fulfillment is not necessarily tied to just the family, but also, outside of it. And I think that to me has been a very positive impact.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think mothers are just like that. How
Yeah.
about you, Nageshwar? Which
First
woman
of
has influenced you or impacted your life the most?
my grandmother, my father's mother, uh, she balanced the whole family, um, inspired many things. In my childhood, my grandfather took storybooks.
Oh, nice.
So I read. Then I think for writing. So uh, obviously mother.
Yes, of course.
And several women in society in uh, various things inspired us. The story of our short film Madhurya Salam, a real instance which happened in our society.
Oh,
So I make that thing in my short film.
yes, the best films are those that reflect reality. So
Okay,
that's
thank
yes.
you.
Some of the best films are those that empower others. Female-driven films challenge
Hmm.
stereotypes. They help women see their own potential and they inspire others. So tell us how your film is empowering to the new generation of women and young girls, as well as men. Why is it important for you to tell this story? How
Nagesh, should
how
I
how
go
will your
first?
film?
Ah,
I was going to
చెప్పండి.
ask Nagesh if I should go first.
Okay.
Sorry, Nikita, you asked your question. Is there something you wanted
Yes.
to add to it?
No. It's for both of you, so anyone can go first. Just
Okay.
why is it important for you to tell this story, and how is it going to impact this new generation of women and young girls as well as men?
So my documentary was about Tibetan Buddhist nuns, and I think what I found really valuable in in that story was the fact that here was an ancient religion which was willing to sort of really look at what could be new in it, what could be brought forth in terms of its own growth and regeneration. And women have been part of Buddhism for from the time that Buddha pretty much
For
started his
2,500
sangha.
years, yeah.
Yeah. And so the question of women being in religion, in the religion, was something which was unquestionable. But at the same time, they didn't have the same place which the monks had. And there are several sort of technical reasons which sort of would come up. But what was fascinating to me was that it was that although that was how the religion operated in the past, over the last pretty much the last 30, 40 years, um, once the Tibetan Buddhists started moving out of Tibet, and also moved to India, the Dalai Lama inculcated a sense of equality, and it was possible for women to then get the same education as the monks and reach a point where they could, in a way, ask for the same sort of sense of equal degree, uh, in the sense that you could then be part of the organizational arrangements
Yes, absolutely.
which exists in the Sangha, because it is so stratified. and it was possible for women to then say, we would like to, we would like to have the same education, we would like to have the same degrees. And although there was resistance at first, it became something that, was possible. To me, that is a very exciting story, very inspirational story, because I think, looking at Hinduism itself or any of the religions practiced in the subcontinent, we don't have that level of transparency. We don't ask those questions. In fact, I don't think those conversations and dialogues are even encouraged. So to me, to see that Buddhism was taking the first step was an amazing way to see how society could actually view this as a change that was possible. And I do think that, for Hinduism, that's something that I've grown up in. I would really like to know how they're able to see women be on an equal footing in terms of even the organization, as they have started the discussion in Buddhism and other religions as well. I don't think even Christianity allows for nuns to be present at the same, sort of clergy level as the male priests, even in Catholicism.
Something that's creating new avenues for women, and you get inspired by what you see. So then
Absolutely.
you want to, push forward in the same way.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Nageshwar, why is it important for you to tell this story, and how does it empower women and even men of this new generation?
In pandemic time, several men
It's comfortable for you. You can say it in Telugu, and maybe Malti can kind of.
Yeah, I was going to
Okay.
offer, Nagesh, మీ తెలుగులో చెప్పండి, నేను చెప్పిస్తాను.
అదే ఈ కోవిడ్ టైంలో ఈ డాక్టర్స్ చేసే సేవలను కూడా చాలామంది మగవాళ్ళు కించపరచడం, వాళ్ళకు ఉందేమో అన్న ఒక అనుమానంతో ఇచ్చేయటం, ఇవన్నీ కొంచెం చాలా, నేను మగవాడినైనా నాకు కొంచెం బాధగా అనిపించింది. అంటే వాళ్ళు చేసేదానికి మనం పొగట్టం మానేసి వాళ్ళని కించపరచడం అన్నదే చాలా బాధగా అనిపించి ఈ స్టోరీ రాయడం జరిగింది. కనీసం మనం చేసిన వర్క్ చూసి కొద్దిమంది అయినా వాళ్ళ ఆలోచన విధానంలో మార్పు చెందుతారేమో అన్న ఉద్దేశంతో ఈ షార్ట్ ఫిల్మ్ తీయడం జరిగింది. దట్స్ ఇట్.
I didn't get all of it, but I'm going to try my best, Nagesh.
Okay.
He's saying that although he is a man, he felt that women who were in the medical profession had to take on more responsibility because of COVID and their requirement to manage home as well as their work environment, and he felt that story ought to be told.
And
that
I
point of view had to be told.
And I think it's really important that a man told the story, because it's very impactful on other men.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? It's, you always see women wanting to share their experience, but when men also support that, it becomes much more impactful, I think. So kudos to you for that. So I'm going to talk a little bit with Malti about her film, and then I'm going to come to you.
Nikita, just so you know, Arindam has joined us as well.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you, Malti.
Yeah, am I audible to everyone? No.
Hi.
Hello, Arindam. How are you? Namaste.
Namaste. I'm good. Actually, sorry for the late joining. Actually, there was a technical glitch, so I couldn't join it earlier.
No worries. We're so glad that you've joined us. So I'm going to introduce you to our audience. We have filmmaker Arindam Barua, whose beautiful short Pratyush revolves around a poverty-stricken recent widow and how she must choose between society's pressures and her own convictions. So welcome to you.
Thank you.
So we just went around and gave a little bit of our background. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and background for the audience?
Okay, yeah. Okay. First of all, thank you, everyone, for actually. I'm very happy to be here amongst you all. Thank you for having me here. And myself, Arindam Borua. I'm a short filmmaker, and I'm from Assam. So I've been actually directing various short films as of now. So I'm on my watch of making my first feature film. That's actually on the scripting stage now. So I think by January I'll start the production. So yeah, that's all
Excellent.
about me. Thank you.
Now, did you always want to be a filmmaker?
Yeah, like when I was a kid, then at that time, like I was fascinated by cinema, but at that time I didn't think of going into filmmaking. But as like time passes, as I realized that I think filmmaking is a good option to actually portray different emotions and like telling stories to people. So I thought of actually choosing filmmaking, and yeah, that's how I think this that interest turned into profession.
Excellent. And tell us about a woman who has greatly impacted or influenced you in your life.
Okay. Uh, I think I'd say my mother. See, she is herself a writer. She's a poet actually. So
Nice.
I have actually seen her, the journey actually, being a mother, being a wife, being a woman, and she has been very supportive throughout whatever decision I have taken till now, and I'm very much inspired by her journey actually, because she has sacrificed her professional career just for the sake of the family, and which has inspired me a lot. And but now she is doing very good in her you know uh, writing career, and she has a name in Assam. So yeah, I've been inspired by
Nice.
my mother. I could say that.
Excellent. That's excellent.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you have a role model in front of you.
Yes, she is my role model. You can say like that.
So, this one last question that I'm going to ask you before we move to Malti's film. Um,
Yeah.
the best films are those that empower others, and female-driven films challenge stereotypes, help women see their own potential, and inspire others. So, tell us how your film is empowering the new generation of women as well as men. Why is it important for you to tell this story?
Okay. As I said about my mother, she has sacrificed her professional career just for the sake of the family. So likewise in my film, so the film actually shows an emotive tale of a mother, of a mother who had actually sacrificed everything just for the sake of her family. She has to raise her only two school-going children, and when actually the thing is actually when her husband meets an untimely death, so
Yes.
she has to suffer a lot. And just because she belonged to an underprivileged family, so she has to face many obstacles, and the society actually had given her two options, just to either to succumb to miseries or to let their children work. But she has sacrificed everything, and she had thought of doing her own job, and she had thought of actually running her husband's shop, just to actually to secure her children's future. She didn't let their children's ruin their career. So I think women, you know I think they have a great essence of empowerment. And I would say, I think yeah, people can actually, they have actually great role models for everyone. you know being a mother, being a you know being a wife, being a daughter, being a sister. I think they have played them parts very beautifully, and I think people can learn more about them.
Really got that from your film. I thought it was very empowering, and it set an example for women everywhere that they can take that
Yeah.
they can help themselves.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about when Geshima is born. Um, were you always interested in this subject of the Tibetan nuns, or how did you get uh, word about this, and how did you decide that you were going to make this documentary?
I guess I mean, the short answer is that it was actually my producer, who's a practicing Buddhist, who asked me if this would interest me. Um, that's how I approached. I got to know about it. I'm not really sort of. I mean, I meditate and have some sort of beginners, just one of those beginners guide to Buddhism sort of notions. But I think once and I'm also not religious in terms of my own practices. I grew up in a Hindu family, and my parents worship, but I kind of, sort of didn't really get into it myself. Um, but I think as I sort of began exploring the subject, something opened up for me in terms of just how these nuns um, were working towards a change which was both internal as well as external. That was fascinating to me, that they could figure how to bring in such radical ideas of transformation by just sort of sticking to their beliefs, of seeing them through by conversations, by negotiation, and just sort of believing what they stood for. And they were always open to dialogue. They never gave up the hope of being able to bring a change in their practice, in the religion itself. Um, but they did it in such an exciting way. I mean, this wasn't a fight that was led by picket fences or by sloganeering, but really sort of digging their heels in and exploring the internal mechanism of the religion itself, which is dialectics, which is dialogue, and which is using logic and using the sense of the ideas of impermanence to bring in change. So I thought a great understanding of the religion itself empowered them to actually change the religion, which was amazing.
So what
I'm
you've
sorry, I
learned,
can't hear you. Could you say that again?
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I think it's so important for people, for women and men, to know that if there's something that they want, staying committed to that can bring about change. Just, and you don't have to have something big, even something small. If you know what you want, you stay committed to it, you can bring about a change. So,
Absolutely. And also the sense of I think what was really exciting for me was also to see a sense of how they acknowledged whose shoulders they stood on. So in that sense, they really connected with their own history of nuns who came first, and how they set things up, and then acknowledging their own history, sometimes which was just oral. I mean, the documentation for monks in the religion has been far greater. And the idea of nation has been far greater than the story of the women. But they really held steadfast and remembered whose shoulders they stood on, and took it forward from there.
yeah, it wasn't until 2013 that these women were even able to, uh, take the exams for the first time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Geishama exams took place in 2013. I mean, they began studying for it for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really an incredible change. How did it feel when you were, excuse me, how did it feel when you were around these 20 women, you know, getting their degrees? How did that feel to you?
I know it was just the most exciting thing, because no one had seen anything like that before. It was the first time that something like this was happening in the religion. And so when we were there, and when we were there with our cameras, for us, everything felt so valuable. We felt like we had to capture every little gesture, because we had no precedent of what was going to happen. So we captured literally everything. We spent a lot of time, days, weeks, just filming the debates, filming every aspect of the ceremony, I mean, ultimately, what we used in the film, was minuscule compared to what we filmed. But I think what we were really keen on was that we didn't want to miss anything at all, because everything felt valuable and important.
Well,
And we also felt like we were really sort of, you know, witnessing history, which is so incredible.
well, and as a viewer, it was very incredible for me to see that, compelling moment. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was not there, but even I could feel it. So I'm sure it must have been an unbelievable experience for you. Also, to have met His Holiness, uh, all of that, I think, really put the film at just another level. So, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I hope that the viewers will enjoy it as much. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, this was a subject which he really cared about, and he himself had sort of been wishing for it. But then, there is the fact that he's not a political leader. And so he had to sort of take cognizance of that, and work with creating in that sense, a sort of a sense that everyone was on the same plane. Creating that sense among a community, I mean, is an extremely hard thing to bring everyone onto, the same plane, because there are so many varying views to the idea of equality and to women being
Yes.
part of religion. But I think the fact that ultimately he saw it through and the women saw it through, brought everyone on that platform, and they were all in agreement. So that was valuable.
Yes, and it is wonderful to see a spiritual leader and a man bringing about, helping this change to come about. So we really respect him for that. So, Arindam, let's chat a little bit
Yes.
about Pratyush, which also means sunrise or the cracking of dawn.
Yes.
This
Yes.
film has such a feel-good ending. I found elements of this story to be very universal. Women are stereotypically seen as weak and are generally not given the opportunity to take decisions. They are just told what to do, especially in small villages. So it was so refreshing to see a
Yes.
woman take an important decision on her own. So tell us how you came up with this story.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Actually, it was like an instinct decision to make a short film at that time. Like, it was my mother's story. Okay, but the situations, this actually it's been happening all around the country, everywhere actually. But it's not like it's based on a particular experience or based on a particular incident, but it's actually a collective experience by every woman, like everywhere. So yeah, so I think and my mother thought of the story,
Your
and I
voice
liked it
break.
instantly, and I thought of you know making this into a film. So that's how we got the story, and that's how we filmed the film.
Very nice. I really like the way you shot in both
Thank you.
black and white and then
Yes.
changed it to color at a very
Yes.
pivotal moment. To me, that was
Yes.
so powerful because, I felt like she had come to a decision and you could just see it so beautifully on screen. It really
Mm-hmm.
spoke to me. Can you share a little bit about how you
Yes.
decided as a director to use that to speak to
Okay.
the audience? Because
Okay.
for me, that was just, I was very touched when I saw that.
Okay. Thank you. Pratyuk means early dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So when her husband actually met that accident, so at that time, uh, the woman, she was actually very vulnerable. She was attacked by all the outsiders. They have to actually, when the society has actually given only option either to succumb to miseries or to let her children do the job. But so at that time it was black and white. I thought the atmosphere, the situation of the condition of her is was very like dull. It was very vulnerable, so we thought of giving it a black and white tone. And when she took the decision, she came out with all the obstacles, and she just took the decision of actually doing the job by herself and not letting their children do the job, and by securing the future. So at that time we thought of giving into a color tone, just because it was a dawn, it was like a new beginning in her
Absolutely.
life. So that beginning was actually the transformation, from black and white to color.
And that was very metaphorical. It was my favorite part of the film. I
Thank you.
love the whole film, but that part was my most
Thank you.
favorite.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
were your actors professionals or trained? I found that your protagonist, even though she spoke very little, and she was a very, I would say, minimalistic in her acting, but
Yes.
very, very
Yes.
expressive and a lot of depth
Yes.
in whatever you could see on her
Yes.
face.
So yeah, due to the budget constraint, I actually never thought of casting known actors or professional actors. So I thought of casting casting actors who can act a little bit. They're actually stage actors. They haven't done films yet, but they have done with me. Like, they have done few short films with me, but they haven't done like feature films or any other films by other directors. They have done stage performance, stage acting. So that was their only experience. And my treatment was actually to have actually minimum dialogues. I think emotions or expression speaks a lot, you know and so I thought of uh, you know I thought of having very minimum dialogues, so that the expressions and emotions can speak and can touch the audience. And I hope the film was successful in doing that.
Yes, thank you. You could see the rawness, which really was
Yes.
appropriate for
Yes.
making it so real. So we really appreciate that. It's a very lovely film. Um, I'm going to
Thank
talk to
you.
Nageshwar a little bit about his ultra short, Ma Tujhe Salam. So
And
your film is less than 5 minutes, but in those 5 minutes, you're able to teach people and break misconceptions about so many different topics. You talk about COVID, you talk about Dr. Minal Bhosle, which you can talk about. You talk about the female force of medical professionals during this crisis and the importance of respecting women. How did you manage to create a story under 5 minutes that's so enlightening and educational? People can take a small topic and make a 2 3 hour movie. You did so many topics in a very short film. That is hard to do. How did you do that? How did you come up with the story?
ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఈ మాలతి గారు కొంచెం హెల్ప్ చేయండి.
Sure.
హలో.
చెప్పండి.
అదే ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్ అనుకున్నప్పుడు ఆర్టిస్టుల కోసం వెతకాం. కాకపోతే ఈ కోవిడ్లో ఎవరో రావడానికి ఎదరికి రాలేదన్నమాట. ఒరిజినల్ గా చేసిన ఇద్దరు ఆర్టిస్ట్ పెర్ఫార్మర్స్ డాక్టర్స్, ఒరిజినల్ డాక్టర్స్ అన్నమాట. ఇందాక మాట్లాడారు కదా, వాళ్ళకి సబ్జెక్ట్ చెప్పిన వెంటనే వాళ్ళు బాగా నచ్చి, వాళ్ళ ఫీలింగ్ కూడా అదే అండి. అంటే ఒక లేడీ డాక్టర్స్ ని ఈ పాండమిక్ టైంలో ఆశగా చూసే మగవాళ్ళ గురించి టాపిక్ రాయటం, అదే సబ్జెక్ట్ రాయటం వాళ్ళకి చాలా హ్యాపీగా అనిపించి చేస్తా అంటే ఒక 3 days వర్క్ షాప్ చేసి వాళ్ళతో వాళ్ళ హాస్పిటల్ దగ్గరే ఈ షూట్ చేసాం అన్నమాట. వాళ్ళ ఇంటి పక్కన అపార్ట్మెంట్ దగ్గర.
అంటే వాళ్ళందరూ డాక్టర్స్ నాగేష్?
అవునండి. ఇద్దరు డాక్టర్స్ యాక్ట్ చేశారు, లేడీ డాక్టర్స్. వాళ్ళిద్దరు ఒరిజినల్ గా డాక్టర్స్ అండి. ఇందాక మీతో మాట్లాడారు కదా ఒక ఆమె, ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళ ఇంటి దగ్గరే కూడా ఉన్నాను.
చూసాను.
వాళ్ళ నాన్నగారు సపోర్ట్ చేసి అదండి విషయం.
చెప్పనా?
చెప్పండి.
So Nikita, Nagesh is saying that it was hard for him to find actors during the pandemic, but he really wanted to tell this story, and so he met these two doctors, and he told them what his story was, and they were so moved by it and inspired by it that they agreed to play themselves. And he did a 3-day workshop with them, and sort of trained them in understanding how to be on camera and follow instruction. and they agreed, and that's pretty much how he made his film. That's amazing, Nagesh.
It is amazing. And for a director to be able to make a film that makes its point is the most important thing, and he's able to do that in less than 5 minutes. He's able to tell people you must respect women. More than 50% of the workforce in the medical field right now are women. He talked about Dr. Meenal Bhosle, who made the first COVID kits, and so many stereotypes, and he's able to do that and get the character who is against the protagonist to actually change all of that in
Yes.
5 minutes. So I really admire that you're able to do that. Now, did the film come out the way you imagined it would? They'd say that films take on a persona in the editing room. So you think that this is what my film will look like. Once it's been edited, many times it looks different. Does your film look just like what you imagined it to?
నేను ఏదైతే రాసుకున్నానో అదే తీసానండి. నేనే ఎడిటింగ్ చేశాను, నేనే కెమెరా హ్యాండిల్ చేశాను. అంటే ఈ సినిమాకి వచ్చి బయట టెక్నీషియన్స్ కూడా రావడానికి భయపడ్డారు. యాక్చువల్గా ఇది మేలో షూట్ చేసామన్నమాట. సో మనకి ఎంత అవసరమో అంతే తీసి ఎడిటింగ్ రూమ్లో వేరే వేస్ట్ ఏం చేయకుండా నేను రాసుకున్నది స్పష్టంగా చెప్పడానికి మ్యాక్సిమం ట్రై చేశాను.
So Nagesh is saying that he's a one-man army, and that he pretty much shot it and edited it and used every little bit that he could find in the film that he needed to, he just put everything in. He didn't really have much of a crew because it's the pandemic and it's hard to get a crew together. So he just wore many hats, and so he knew exactly what he was going to use and shot it in that way, and he edited it himself. So he made sure that he barely wasted anything at all.
Well, I have to say you are a master of many trades. You can do so
Thank you,
many
madam.
things and you do them well. So very, very nice, very
Thank you, madam.
educational. So I have
Thank you, madam.
one last question for all of you. How have the strong women characters in your film, and Malti, in your case, the nuns, how have they affected you personally? How have you changed because of these strong, powerful women?
I mean, I would say that I think my takeaway from Namdol, who's the nun, the main nun
Yes.
who we followed in the film, was her lightness. Actually, she was extremely, she's so erudite and she's so accomplished. But I think what I got the most from her was her ability to just carry it all with great lightness. She never sort of made it too significant a part of her personality, didn't take it too seriously, really spoke her mind, but mostly also, held herself with a lightness of being, which to me, I think, considering the ideas and life itself, which can be so full of all kinds of pain and suffering, to be able to um, bring that ability and that training your um, into your everyday sort of being, and seeing that as something that, I don't know, there's just great strength, and just I was deeply inspired by that, by just her making whatever she has accomplished and who she is, to be not taken to, like, held as if it's heavyweight, but just in ease about it. I really appreciated that. That was most inspiring. The ease was most inspiring to me.
Yes, that's very important that she did not lose her composure ever. No matter what they were going through. So I thought that was amazing. Nageshwar, how about you? How did the strong women in your movie affect you, or change you, or inspire you?
యాక్చువల్గా మెన్ ఆఫ్ దాకా భోస్లే గురించి విన్నప్పుడు చాలా ఇన్స్పైర్గా ఫీల్ అయ్యానండి. హైదరాబాద్లో స్నిగ్ధ అనే ఒక డాక్టర్ని వాళ్ళ అపార్ట్మెంట్ గేట్ దగ్గర ఆపినప్పుడు ఆ కథలో ఈ మినాదాకా భోసలే గురించి చెప్పడానికి ఒక స్ట్రాంగ్ రీజన్ తీసుకుని ఈ కథను రాసుకున్నాం అన్నమాట. అంటే ఆవిడ ప్రెగ్నెంట్ లేడీగా ఉండి డెలివరీకి రెడీగా ఉండి ఆవిడ ఆ కిట్టు సక్సెస్ అయిన తర్వాత డెలివరీకి వెళ్ళడం అన్నది నాకు చాలా గొప్పగా అనిపించింది. ఆ కథని నేను చెప్పడానికి చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఫీల్ అయ్యాను, ప్రౌడ్గా ఫీల్ అయ్యాను. దట్స్ ఇట్.
I think, I mean, I haven't seen the story, Nikita, so I'm not, very well versed with the characters. But what Nageshwar is saying is that when he heard the story of what happened in Hyderabad, he was very moved by it, by the character, by the original story, and so to him, the fact that she was pregnant and she went in to deliver, I'm presuming that's what the film has. Um, was such an inspiring story for him that that itself was where that's where he got inspired. The story itself proved to be of great value to him.
Sure, and one of the greatest things that people can do is to tell an inspiring story, because that brings about change. And Arindam, how about you? How did your protagonist, how did her powerful persona bring about a change in you or inspire you?
Yeah, as I said earlier, the story is based on the collective experiences and incidents by women around us, every woman around us. So I would say, I believe women are stronger, like in every aspects, be it physically, be it emotionally, be it mentally, and despite facing that problems or the hardships, she managed to overcome all the barriers. And I think that's what I said. Women are powerful. Women are strong in every aspect. So the protagonist here is very powerful. I think she is empowered. She's very much empowered, and she has herself, I think, give a message to everyone. I think we shouldn't lose our hopes, and we shouldn't lose our aspirations to lead a life. So I think, yeah, that's how the protagonist affected me, and I thought of bringing into a life, the story into a life.
I have really enjoyed watching all of these films very, very much.
Thank you.
And they're educational, empowering, feel good, and inspiring. So I want to thank our wonderful guests for enlightening us today and for a very enjoyable discussion. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And I want to thank our audience for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Malteri garu.
And if you
No problem.
For our audience, if you have not watched these films, please do. You will love them. Indica Pictures' identity is positivity. Positive cinema is powerful. And these three films are not only powerful, but they're also very positive. So thank you very much. Happy Diwali, everyone, and namaste.
Happy Diwali to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Nice meeting all of you.
Very nice to meet all of you.
I look forward to watching your films.
So the panel is off. It's not live anymore. You guys want to chat? You can chat, and then you can wrap it up, Nikita.
Thank you, Zanji, so much. This was really fun. I'm so happy to know all of you. I just watching the film, you don't know how the directors are, but it's so nice to meet all of you, and I really, truly loved all your films. So please keep making more.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Happy Diwali to everyone.
Bye, guys.
Same to you. Happy.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.